And Christian Pulisic could be on the move as well. And he was actually talking about his frustrating season at Chelsea while at U.S. men's national team camp in Los Angeles this week. Here's what he had to say, quote, "It's been a really tough season for me personally and for our team, of course, at a club level. So for me, it's just about coming in here and having a fresh start and being able to be a part of a team that hopefully can come out and win some games. So I'm really excited to be here and just get some minutes on the field and just get back to being that confident player that I know I can be and just find my footing again and just enjoying the game because it feels like it's been tough to do that lately." Now, last week on Football Americas, we spoke to U.S. legend Clint Dempsey about Pulisic's future. Here's what Clint had to say.
I think the most important thing is he goes to a team that he's going to be a major player for them, because I think it's tough to go from being a player that's kind of, not being a major player for your team and then come to the States and having that pressure of being a major player for them as well. I think you need to be a major player wherever you're at. I think you need to be playing significant minutes. I think that's for our players to be doing the best that they can. They need to be playing week in and week out and playing with confidence for them to come in and make more of an impact for our U.S. team.
He needs to be playing week in and week out. James, where is that for Christian Pulisic?
Well, it's at the moment, it's at what club will take him. I mean, Jules was talking about Maguire being offered around. Pulisic's been offered around for quite some time. And again, this might need to be a difficult conversation between him and his representatives. Does he feel that he actually can play at an elite club in Europe, as you say, starting week in, week out every week? Or does he need to maybe take a slight step down to just rebuild his career after what's been obviously a difficult couple of seasons at Chelsea? I mean, I think Newcastle makes a degree of sense. I could see that from the point of view that, his versatility across the attacking positions, he's available for a relatively small fee. There's talk around £20 million in that area. His wages would be quite high for Newcastle, but not prohibitive. And clearly they've got Champions League football now, and they need to expand their squad and in particular their attacking options. So I could see that, but whether he wants to stay in England is obviously another matter. There's talk about a couple of clubs in Italy. I think AC Milan, maybe Juventus looking at him. I don't see him going to Manchester United. I think that was more a case of him being offered to United rather than United looking at Pulisic. It's some difficult conversations for him and his camp ahead this summer, I think.
Shaka, Newcastle, one of your former clubs. Would you have him there? And to the point that Clint Dempsey makes, would he get the minutes he needs there?
I think he'd get the management he needs at Newcastle United. Listen, and if Newcastle come in for Christian Pulisic, if I have anything to do with advising him, I'm telling him, take it. Let's remember, Christian Pulisic has struggled to establish himself in a team that just finished 10th in 10th? No, Chelsea were lower than that.
12th.
Yeah. 12th in the league. And kind of just given his stop-start and inconsistencies in English football, even dating back to his latter Dortmund days, right now, to get a team finishing in top four, in the top half of the Premier League, I can't think of any other. And the reason I say he'll get the management he needs is because I look at what Eddie Howe has done with Almiron. If 4 or 5 years ago I give you a choice of Hugo Almiron or Christian Pulisic would win hands down every single time. But he's made not just a player, but a significant contributor out of Almiron. If you look at the wide players at Newcastle, we're talking Willock or Murphy.
Gordon.
And Gordon's been a little bit odd for me. But he likes... Eddie Howe likes utilising that pace, which I don't feel good at. But anyway, off the topic a little bit. I would have him. I think he fits how Eddie Howe likes to play. I think he does not bring the kind of ego and will allow himself to be coached to learn under Eddie Howe. And just as Almiron did, I think he has a significant role to play. And again, if I'm advising Pulisic, I don't think anybody else in the top half of the table maybe shows that interest.
Jules, what do you think? Should Christian Pulisic look for work in the Premier League, or should he go to one of the options that we're hearing on the continent, like Juventus, which seems to be the front runner for his services?
Yeah, it's a good question again. I mean, I think the Premier League, because it's the Premier League, it's the best league in the world. I think any player would really want to play there. to be fair, and especially if a club like Newcastle comes for you with the Champions League, with the fact that in terms of competition for places, really, when you think about it, okay, Almiron on one side, Saint-Maximin on the other side, who's not sure to stay, then you've got Joelinton and Murphy, and that's it. So you will have game time, really. If Pulisic is serious, is focused, is committed, is good, he should be good enough to start ahead of those guys. So that's potentially really good. I mean, Milan also looking for a winger on the other side of Leao, and that could be we know that they like this kind of age, a bit of a bargain, especially if the price goes down, because there's still talks about Chelsea being quite greedy in terms of the fee for Pulisic. James mentioned the 20, 25, maybe 30 million pounds. They also could think that, hang on, we got Sterling for similar profile, maybe better than Pulisic, but similar profile with only 1 year left on his contract. And we had to spend 50 or 55 million pounds for him. So let's see how much Chelsea want first. And then that will also, I think, a lot will depend on that price tag, really. But I don't know, it's key for him. And I think where Chelsea missed something is the sense that they could have sent him on loan before, last summer, even in January again. And the good thing about the loan is that you give him a bit of time, he shows what he can do in another team, that team can then have an option to permanently sign him. But at least there's something there. Now with a year left on his contract, the loan, unless he extends and then has a guarantee that they would let him go, which is weird, you can't have that loan option anymore, which I think Chelsea really missed something there.
If you're a Premier League manager and you know that this player doesn't want to come and be a second option, he has to start, would you take him?
No. I don't understand where this confidence about Newcastle is coming from. I mean, how long's Christian been there? 3 years?
4, yeah. 2019.
What has Christian done at Chelsea to make Newcastle, who, by the way, were in the top 4 in the Premier League, who are playing in the Champions League? Please, somebody give me some reason why he is ahead of Almiron or Joe Linton or Murphy or anybody else. Mm-hmm. Because all those names you're talking about that he supposedly is ahead of have had great seasons. Christian, unfortunately, hasn't done anything for 3 to 4 years. So I don't get where the confidence is coming from. I think he's a talented player, but we haven't seen that since he went to Chelsea. Absolutely. If he wants to play in the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, go to Newcastle, because that's what's going to end up happening. But he can stay at Chelsea and play in the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. If he wants to play, I'm sorry, I don't see it being in the Premier League.
To that point, you're absolutely right. But which is why I say Eddie Howe is integral to this. Because while we can sit here and say, yes, Almiron has had an incredible season, we haven't been able to say that too often. Eddie Howe got the best out of him. Newcastle fans couldn't wait to get rid of Joe Linton. Eddie Howe comes in, change of position, and all of a sudden Joe Linton is one of the first names on the team sheet. My confidence in bringing Pulisic into Newcastle United is simply because of his skill set in terms of he's quick, and Eddie Howe likes that. And Eddie Howe has gotten a tune out of players that I'm not sure many other managers in the Premier League would have.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.